Hello everyone, MP Hater here, and welcome back to my Newcomer's Guide to Dark Souls Remastered. This is episode 10. In the last episode, we ended up finishing Quelaag, the boss of the lower Blighttown area, and we've reached the bonfire where we have a couple of new NPCs that we haven't met before. Now, this woman is the fair lady or the white lady, depending on what translation you go for, but she is basically Quelaag's sister, as well as Quelana's sister, and she, unfortunately, like her sister, has been turned into this monstrosity. That being said, though, she is the firekeeper for this particular bonfire, so you can chat her up, though she will not say much to you until we get a ring a little bit later. And she can reinforce your Estus Flask as any other firekeeper can. You also have a covenant that you can enter as well. Now, the way that this covenant works is it's not a PvP covenant or a co-op covenant. It's actually a covenant called the Chaos Servants, and kind of the idea behind it is that you can give her humanity after becoming a member of her covenant. And you'll actually get a couple of things, such as, if I go ahead and accept the covenant, you'll end up getting a greater fireball pyromancy. Great chaos fireball, I should say. And so if you're looking for more magic in this form of basically pyromancy, then you can talk to her, and if you offer up 10 humanity, you'll get another ability. If you talk to her and give her 30 in total, that will give you another. However, it has a secondary purpose once we give her 30 humanity, and that is to open up a shortcut in Lost Izalith. And that shortcut is actually related to saving Solaire in this game. So we would like him to be available for the final boss. So we are going to go ahead and complete his story. So I would recommend that you kind of not kill this woman yet. At least not until we get into Lost Izalith and unlock the shortcut. But basically, you should not give her the humanity right now, because if you do, and then you leave the Covenant, you will abandon your progress, or at least a portion of your progress. So you definitely don't want to do that. But something to consider, also be aware once she dies, she will drop a Firekeeper soul, so we can take that, of course, to Anastasia in Firelink Shrine in order to do that. This is Anigi. He is her, I guess you could say, servant or her advisor, and he is infected, as you can see, with eggs on his body, and you can actually be infected as well. So if you're interested in that, it actually is the source of some additional pyromancy abilities. In fact, he is a pyromancy trainer. He will teach you kind of the other side of the pyromancy tree, which is going to be anything related to poison abilities or toxic abilities. So consider that if you want. Otherwise, though, we're going to go ahead and move on. We'll come back through here later, whenever we are going to be going to the Demon Ruins and, by extension, Lost Izalith. Now, one of the interesting things about this game at this point is that it opens up, really, at this point. There are many different places that we can go to from this point. We could go through the Demon Ruins, though we cannot yet fight the boss of the Demon Ruins, but there's a bonfire we could get to. We could get a bunch of items there. We could also go fight Sif. We could also go down into the New Londo Ruins. So there's a few other paths that we could take as well if we wanted to, but we're actually going to be heading towards Sen's Fortress. However, we've got a couple of things that we need to do before we do that, and Sen's Fortress is kind of long, so I'm probably going to do those things in this episode, but we probably won't tackle Sen's Fortress until the next episode. So yeah, I'm trying to keep them around 30 to 35 minutes if I can. So the first thing we're going to do, though, is we are going to go ahead and take the shortcut back to Firelink Shrine. And you'll notice, by the way, that I'm still carrying around my souls. That is actually part of the plan. I'm going to be buying some things that we're going to need for both Anor Londo as well as Sen's Fortress, which leads to Anor Londo. And the main reason for that is that Sen's Fortress is a pretty lengthy area, and it also, once we get to the area that has the access to Anor Londo, it's a very long trek back, so we're not going to end up stopping until we finish. I mean, we're not going to be coming back here, or Firelink Shrine for that matter, until we finish up Anor Londo. So we want to make sure that we get all the items that we need for Anor Londo as well. So we're actually going to go to the... female undead merchant. We need to buy a few things from her. Namely, we need some more arrows, and we also need some poison arrows. The poison arrows will benefit us both in Sen's Fortress as well as in Anor Londo. And then we're going to go head back to Andre, and we're going to buy a couple of things from him so that we can start doing upgrades on our own. Alrighty, he's dead. Got another dung pie. Come to me. Alrighty, so we got them down. And we're going to go ahead and head out to the Valley of the Drakes, which is another place that you could actually go to at this phase. Though it's a little early, and there's an enemy that's basically standing kind of in front of our path who is not easy to kill at this phase. But at this level, the New Londo Ruins, you'd pretty much be able to go through this area pretty easily, minus the boss, because we can't actually get into the boss battle safely yet. By the way, talk to this guy, the Crestfallen Warrior. Let him know that you've rung the 2 bells. He'll talk about the stench that's coming from the New Londo Ruins. Apparently it's kind of bothering him. And he will eventually go down there, and we'll get to meet him a little later to complete his quest line. Hey, humanity. Again, if you want more humanity, going back into the depths would be a good place to go for that. We have plenty for now. Alrighty, so at this phase, I'm going to go ahead and get another couple of charcoal pine resin. I usually like to keep these handy. And then we're going to go ahead and buy some poison arrows. I'd say about 75 should do us fine. And then I'm going to go ahead and buy about 100 normal standard arrows. Later we're going to be buying some fire arrows. You do not need them now. But I think I mentioned in a previous episode, once we reach the painted world of Ariamis, we won't be able to actually come back until we finish it. So I'm going to recommend getting fire arrows before we go there, but that's going to be a while. Alright, so we've talked to her. We're going to go ahead and head back. I want to show y'all where Damahal has moved to, since he is now in Firelink Shrine, or more importantly, he's on the outskirts of Firelink Shrine. So if you don't like making the jumps, by the way, you can come around back here and drop off. I think I mentioned this in the second episode, maybe. Anyway, here is Damahal. And again, he sells gold pine resin. I'll go ahead and buy one from him. It's worth mentioning, too, that he doesn't have an unlimited number of them, so that's one of the problems with those items, is they are limited. Though I will say that they can be farmed once we get to the Darkroot Garden. I'm sorry, the Darkroot, the Darkroot Forest. He also sells the Master Key. Again, we started with the Master Key, so if you want the Master Key, you can get it. We also got the crystal weapons I talked about. Again, high damage, but they can't be repaired. He'll sell some arrows. He also sells boss gear. Currently, just his gear though. But that's gonna be it. So now we're going to go ahead and head to Andre. Again, don't talk to them. There's an NPC called Patches the Hyena, who we'll meet later in the catacombs, but he won't show up in his proper place if they if they have been talked to, because they will go down to the catacombs themselves. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and get our bow leveled up a little bit. Right now we're sticking with the short bow, by the way, but you could go for the long bow if you really want to. It's not really that... They're not really that different from each other, to be honest with you. So we're going to give him the Divine Ember, which we did not give him earlier. And I'm going to go ahead and purchase... Let's see. I'll go ahead and do it to +5. You don't have to do this, by the way, if you don't want to, but I usually start leveling up this weapon to +5. And one of the reasons why I do want to get this to +5 is because I eventually wanted to get it to +10. And when I get it to +10, I'm going to use that with one of the souls that we're going to be getting in order to get a bow. So, again, kind of the idea with this playthrough is that once you get all the items that we can, We are going to end up using all the boss souls to get various things, and I want to basically set you up on the path to 100% the game if you can. So I'm going to go ahead and level up the short bow. Though later when I get the composite bow, that'll actually be my main bow. So we got the bow leveled up to +5. Oh. Got one more thing I want to buy from him. And that is the ability to reinforce weapons at bonfires. If you want this one for the armor smith box, you can buy it. I'm not someone who typically levels up my gear until the very end of the game, so it's just not worth it for really any of the fights in this game. At least in comparison to the weapons. Alright, so we got our 10 Estus flasks, and we're about to go ahead and head into Sen's Fortress. Let's see, we are at 17 minutes. So first things first, we've got these enemies here. These guys do give you quite a few souls, so they can be farmed. This little pad on the floor, by the way, will be a, what do you call it? A trap. So these guys do quite a bit of damage. They have a couple of different attacks. They will hit you with their head. That is not parryable. However, all their other attacks are. They do have a chance to drop the Man Serpent Greatsword, which is actually a really nice greatsword. It's one of the best greatswords in the game. Soul of a Brave Warrior. We're going to head up here, and we're going to convince this guy to come our way. Oh, is he actually gonna... I was thinking he was gonna make it. Oh, color me surprised. He did make it. Usually he gets knocked off. If he gets knocked off down there, by the way, that is actually not a dead drop. You probably can't survive that drop yourself quite yet, though we will be going down there later another way. But if he ends up surviving and he gets dropped off there, he will climb up via a path that's down there. You can kind of see the stairs there. He'll climb up and then he'll come out here. So just be aware that you may have an enemy coming behind you if he ends up getting knocked off the platform here. And then we got another one of these guys that we're going to kill. This one you can kill either with poison arrows, or you can actually shoot him with a few arrows and it will knock him off the platform. So that's an option. There we go. And he died. Okay. So walking across this isn't that bad. None of these are close enough that you have to walk by multiple of them at a time. Though we will run into some that are pretty close. So we're gonna make a left, head up. So we got a couple here. Walk past that one, walk past that one. And then these two are close enough that you're gonna need to go past both of them. So there's a pad on the floor, we don't want to step there. And then inside here we got a large Titanite shard, so more upgrade materials. Up here, there's a guy right here. I usually like to drop attack him. And then we're going to head up. And this guy is going to get rolled over by a boulder. That's funny. Now he'll probably survive that first attack, but they're not done. He's dead now. Okay. So we're going to wait for that boulder to come by again, and we're going to go up the path. This place, by the way, it's full of this kind of stuff. Just death traps galore. Oh boy. He got me. He has a couple pretty dangerous attacks. His grab attack, as well as his wind-up attack, is pretty damaging too. Anyway, over here we got a ring of steel protection. This is actually a ring that we're going to equip, because right now we are we have enough stamina to be able to equip the elite night gear. So this is going to give us more defense against physical attacks. So we're going to wait for one of those boulders to come, and then we're going to drop off on the left-hand side. And this is the Shotel, which is a curved sword. This, by the way, I believe this weapon ignores... Yeah, it ignores the shield, so it's going to do damage directly through a shield. So I got another one of these guys. And we have Sigmire. So come talk to him. He'll complain that he's too fat in order to make the run. We will actually see him again in Anne Orlando, so make sure to talk to him. Alright, so we're going to wait for this to pass and run up again. This time we're actually going to go through the fog door off to the left. And then around the corner here, there is an enemy lying in wait. We're going to wait for him to come to us and then step on the pad. Oh, I was hoping he would get hit by that. Anyway, that noise that you hear that sounds like, that's basically the sound of the location of these balls changing. So now one's about to come here. We're actually going to follow this ball. And these balls are going to drop down into here. So just wait for them to come. And eventually they're going to fill up this hole, and we'll be able to go into a broken wall that's going to show up here. So now it's full. The last one should come and break the wall. Just be careful. We need to make the run quick because there's another ball that'll be following this one. That, by the way, down there is death. Don't go that way. Another ball coming our way. If you drop down here, by the way, you will not die. There is a path down there. Anyway, we're going to come into here, and we get to deal with our first mimic. So before I do that, I want to talk about one of the items that we have called the Lloyd's Talisman. So, couple things about this. This is a mimic chest. If you've ever seen D&D, a couple of call-outs. You can see the top of the chest kind of breathing. It should not be moving, obviously. Another really obvious way to identify chests like this is the chain that's coming out of the chest. It's pointed in the same direction as the latch on the chest. Normally, the chain is pointed away from the latch on the chest. So if you try to open this, you're going to be in for a very nasty surprise. So don't open these. We're going to go ahead and attack it. Now what we can do is we can actually hit it with Aloyd's Talisman, and it will go back to sleep. It'll also drop the item, so that it's going to be dropping, so Lightning Spear. So if you're having struggles with these guys, you can absolutely do that, but I'm going to go ahead and kill it. So you want to stay behind them. Their kicks are pretty devastating, so stay away from those. It can also grab you, which is really devastating too. Now, there are a limited number of those things in the game, by the way, and once you kill all of them, you will be eventually guaranteed to get basically one of their heads, and it'll be a helmet that will give you the ability of the Gold Covetous Serpent Ring and the Silver Covetous Serpent Ring. Which reminds me, the ring that we just got is the Covetous Gold Serpent Ring. This boosts item discovery. So right now my item discovery is at 210. If I equip this ring, I go to 410. So quite a bit higher. In addition, that adds on to your existing item discovery, because again we have, in this case, 11 humanity. 10 is the highest that will actually affect your item discovery, though, for humanity. But if you're trying to do farming, this is an excellent thing to have. Later, when we get the silver one actually gives us a boost in getting souls, and you can actually equip that right after killing a boss, but before their body kind of dissipates, and you'll still get the souls that they have. I'm not all that interested in that. I don't really care that much about farming souls like that, but you can definitely do that if you want to. For now, though, I'm going to go ahead and equip this ring, and we're going to go ahead and head on this elevator. Now, this elevator, as it comes down, you'll notice that it has blood on it. And that's supposed to be your hint. When you go up, it's going to stop momentarily, and then you need to get off immediately because it's going to go up to some spikes. So be aware of that. We're going to head up here. We're going to head over here, and this is a locked gate. So we are going to come back here a little bit later, coming from the other side to open this up. But this gets us to a shortcut. So be aware of that. In our case, though, we're going to head down and head up here. And here's where that boulder is being pushed out. And there are basically a couple of different paths. If you go down this path, this actually heads to the area that the boulder was at earlier. So we don't need to ever change it back to this path. Likewise, this path is basically a dead end. There's nothing out here, though you could kill that thing now if you wanted to. In fact, let's do that. I'm gonna hit her with some poison arrows. I think that's a her, anyway. Okay. So she should die, assuming that we don't go to a bonfire. Anyway, so you'll notice that this thing, this lever, is pushed back this way. It'll basically push the ball in the opposite direction of the way that this is facing. So later we will be shifting this around in order to go a different direction. For now, though, we're going to go ahead and just head in here. Step on the pad to make these things fire. And we're going to go ahead and go forward. And then we got some more of these things to deal with. There are now 4 of these in a row, so you are going to need to cross all of these. Make a left, don't go up the stairs yet, because we've got one of these enemies. And as you kind of walk around, he will eventually be convinced to come to you. Come on. There we go. You don't want to go up there because they're... Oh god, I did not plan on that. I was not trying to get two of them. Oh well. Anyway, usually what will happen is if you kind of like hang out here for a moment, it'll convince him to come to you, and it'll keep this one from up here from actually seeing you and coming down to you. Otherwise, though, just kill them. Around the corner here, we got another one. And we got a large Titanite chunk. And we're going to go ahead and head up. So we got another one of them here. You can basically just ignore this one. We're going to come around to her here in a moment. So I usually kind of move in here and then move the final two. There are two pads here, by the way. Just hug the wall. Then we're going to come here over here and knock her off the ledge. Usually that's what happens anyway. That was weird. Anyway. Don't go down there, by the way. That's death. And again, avoid these. There's one right here. And there's one right here. Just go up, go through the fog door. And we're going to make a left. We're going to head up here. We've got a soul item here. Notice the black stuff on here. There's an enemy up there who's throwing basically explosives at us. So we're going to drop off here. And we have a bonfire. So, we are now at 33 minutes. And we got a little bit of the ways to go in order to finish this area. So, I'm going to end up doing the rest of the episode, actually, or the rest of Sen's Fortress in the next episode. But basically what we have to do at this point, we're going to end up going through this path here, and that'll actually put us back out over the staircase that we just came up. And we're going to go ahead and continue up. We're going to end up killing that guy, because he will actually be throwing those at you during the boss battle. We also need to go on kind of a collect-a-thon once we get a cage key, so we're going to be getting a key to all the cages in this area. So we also have to free Logan, one of the NPCs. He is important if you are a sorcerer, because he's kind of your second, what do you call it, your second trainer for sorcery after Griggs. So we'll come back around for him, and then we're going to tackle the Iron Golem, who is the boss of this area. There's also an NPC that we can summon in for help. There's also another NPC who will sell a bunch of gear that we're going to meet in this place too. But with that, though, that's what we're going to be doing in the next episode. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you in the next one. Later.